So I ran out of new NK footage for you guys to see, instead you can watch me being bad in a Roblox shooting game. Anyway, today I'd like to reply to the comment we got from Asmanworks in the last video, giving some explanation as to why Lens update. If you don't know him, he is the owner of Blockage Studios and also the main person behind NeonKnights. Without further ado, let's go! I am going to slice Asman's comment into 3 points for the sake of the length of this video. Point 1, there is a lot of things happening that basically led me to doing the things that we ended up doing, and also why there is a very long dry spell between part 1 and hopefully part 2. I am just one person and 8K is not a small game to update. If I had the luxury of adding all the content that I truly wanted to, there would be no short in insane quirks, enemies and areas to test your newly bursted things with story to boot. That's also why I labeled the game as an alpha still. Basically I am saying the problems would be trivial if there was more to compare. For the carbon stuff, if you don't know what he is referring to, it's the carbon limiter I mentioned in the previous video. Yes, it's a bummer, but it also falls into the content point. If there isn't an update for a very long time, assuming everything was still going to plan, I needed to do something now for anything related to economy to be balanced. As a whole, the unfortunate truth is that it was very inflated and no one wants to see 20,000 carbon outfits just to balance it out. Okay, so first off, I'd like to talk about point 3. If for some reason players getting outfits too easily bothers you to the point of impacting the majority of the player base, I actually found a nice solution in the morning I'm recording this. Shine. Now some of you guys may ask, but Dill, what the fuck is Shine? If you guys forgot, Shine was a special type of currency during NK's Snow Day event. Do you see where I'm getting at? It was only obtained by playing the special game mode Holidays Delivery Service. Didn't matter if players were stacked up on carbon at all, since you had to get another type of currency, and that's it. The solution to that is a special currency, separate for carbon, can be earned by like completing challenges, daily runs, or having game modifiers a player can pick themselves to make the game harder aside from very hard, etc. And you can just make cosmetics cost that new currency. This change wouldn't have taken that much of your developing time, as you don't have to create something from the ground up. It would have fixed any issues with economy balancing while not impacting anyone. Talking about not having to create content from scratch, point 2. NK doesn't need more areas nor enemies and quirks in priority, but why? Because the game's own foundations, the core gameplay loop is very fragile and repetitive in design. What stemmed down from me discussing on the topic in the Blockage Discord server was permanent progression, limited weapon variety, and that runs don't feel so different from one another. That are the main issues currently. An easy fix to variety is just making quirks that almost no one uses more valuable to use. Most of them have synergies that don't work, for example plasma with deadshot. You fix a lot of quirks like that and bam! Twice the diversity, you already have the coding and the assets behind them. That's easier to do, right? Asman, you really have to take into consideration the whole NeonKnights community right now, not just a few testers. Everyone that knows their stuff are basically saying the same things that I am, each with their own references to other games, their experiences with game design, etc. All this is very valuable feedback that some companies just pay a non-negligible amount of cash to process, and it seems like you are just continuing straight into what you envision your game to be. That might not fall in line with your player base opinions, which is also, by the way, your customers, as you are aware, I hope. Now, I am not saying having your own clear vision of your game's future is bad, but it's clearly not working out in the long term. I wanted to show everyone 2 messages. A quick message to everyone: please do not react strongly, nor harass anyone. That is not going to help how things are right now. Let's all be civilized. Those are Discord messages from Asman in the testers chat if I remember correctly. Essentially not public information that was known by very few people. First one was screenshotted by a 9K tester in the community that essentially grinded the game a ton and whom this message is directed towards. So it starts off with carbon is unequal to progression. This is the first sentence, alright? If your main gripe is carbon rates, yeah, it's harder to get outfits. No, we don't want you to buy every outfit in the game in the time span of a few hours. If you want to grind 2000 carbon each day, be my guest. This affects rather a small group of people from our view. No, it does not affect casual play, you just described not casual play. Casual play hasn't been nerfed at all. But finally, this isn't a suggestion. I didn't spoil myself too much other than the fact that it's a really well made game for being on Roblox. Oh, it kinda looks like Colonel Sanders from KFC. To be honest, I don't really know how to react to this message, but what shocked me in a way is that when you said that the line "finally this isn't a suggestion," and that when you look at NeonKnights Roblox page, it literally says, let me find it, NeonKnights is currently in development, expect many changes to come, we are making the game based on community feedback. And when you see that this isn't a suggestion as a way I am unquote forcing my changes onto you, and that you have not no power over it, but like you can't discuss about it in a way that I would make changes about the game. The point I wanted to get to is that what you said right there basically falls really far from what the reality is, and that no matter how much new content you add, it won't mask the fact that you are contradicting yourself. Companies like Nvidia, for example, are pulling bad maneuvers on people, and it doesn't really work because customers are getting aware of this. So if it doesn't work for a company as big as Nvidia, I sincerely doubt it would work on Blockage. So yeah, I leave it up to you, the player, to discuss about what you think about this. Same thing for the second message, I leave it to you on the screen. Finally, about point 1, now before you wrote this, I didn't even know you were working alone on NeonKnights now. My apologies if I do come across harsh, even though I'm pretty light in my opinion, but this is basically necessary to get things moving. As I mentioned, it's alright if you take time to update things, we all understand that. It's just that you seem to not manage your development times that well. Then again, I am no developer by all means, but you still have ambitions the size of what a full working team could reach, except that from what I understood, you are basically working alone on this project currently. So now it's really important to focus on already existing assets NeonKnights has. That way you can fix the many holes in NK's gameplay that have been talked about time and time, so that you can bring back the players and make NK more fun overall, without having to spend like a decade of your own life. I am exaggerating of course, but you get what I mean.